Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Kelly and today I have a video for you guys. It's gonna be a fun video, I hope. I am traveling to some places that I've never been. Look at this awful shadow. Oh my gosh. I'm using the lights from my car right now because it is dark outside, as you can probably see out my window. But the sun is about to come up and I'm so excited to watch the sunrise over Flagler Beach, Florida with you guys. We're getting ready to go out and see. I'll turn the camera around so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. You can see the sun is starting to rise over there and we're gonna head out to the beach and take a look. All right, I don't know if you can even see me. It's so dark out still, but the sun is starting to rise behind me. Pier is right over there. There's a lot of people out fishing. It's cold, by the way, if you can't tell. It's like 40 degrees outside right now. So I brought my blankie to keep me warm. Bitsy's freezing cold, so I'm gonna go put her back in the car. Are you cold, Bitsy? She's leading me, which she never does. The A1A is kind of like the Pacific Coast Highway, if you're familiar with that. It's just a main road that goes all the way up the east coast of the Florida Peninsula, and it runs right along the beach here. I'm in a section of Flagler Beach where there's a little like boardwalk and a fishing pier. Today we're going to be going to a little town called St. Augustine. It is known as the oldest English settlement in the country, and it's been around since around the 1400s. So it's got a lot of really cool old architecture and just lots of old stuff to see. It's got a very old-timey feel to it, and I'm really excited to go check it out. I've heard so much about it since I moved to Florida 5 years ago, and I have never made it there. But I've literally driven by it every month for the last 5 years on my way back and forth to North Carolina. So I always see the signs and I'm like, I want to go, but I always have somewhere I have to be. So today I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take you guys and we're gonna see all the stuff that there is to see in one afternoon in St. Augustine, Florida. Right now the sun is about to rise. I'm gonna turn the camera around. You guys can watch it with me, and then we're gonna head on up the A1A to St. Augustine. I'm gonna jump back in the car and get warmed up. It's like 40 something degrees out here right now. We're gonna head up the A1A to St. Augustine and I will check in with you guys when we get there. All right, we made it to St. Augustine and our first stop is here at the St. Augustine Lighthouse. The lighthouse was built around 1874 out of brick, stands 165 feet tall, and looks out over the nation's oldest port. On this property once stood an earlier, smaller lighthouse, which was the first lighthouse in Florida, and prior to that stood a watchtower used by early Spanish settlers in the late 1500s. The lighthouse is rumored to be haunted, and it was featured on an episode of Ghost Hunters and My Ghost Story. Well, it's pretty awesome, but there's a lot more to see around St. Augustine, so let's keep things moving and take Bitsy on a short walk around the marina across the street before we head further into town. And as I mentioned before, this is the oldest port in the United States, dating back to the 1500s. All right, Bitsy, you ready to head out? I think that's a yes. As we enter into St. Augustine, we cross over the Bridge of Lions. This drawbridge, built in the 1920s, stretches across the Intercoastal Waterway and connects the city of St. Augustine to Anastasia Island. That's where the lighthouse was. And once you cross over, you find a beautiful old village, reminiscent of European architecture from hundreds of years ago. Now up ahead is going to be a 16th century fort and an old European shopping village, which will be our next stop as soon as I can find somewhere to park. I ended up finding this parking deck around the corner that charged me $10 for the day, And one of the things I like to do in parking decks is go all the way to the very top and get a nice view of the whole area. So that's what I did here. So we're looking out from the top of the parking deck. The fort is way out there. You might be able to see it just barely. Here we're able to get a little bit better view of the fort, and you can see the graveyard down below there. So let's go ahead and head down and check everything out. I happened to catch a fun fact as this tour tram rolled by, and that's that St. Augustine is one of 3 cities in the country to have built a wall around itself, the other 2 being New York and Charleston. These gates were built in 1739 and used to be the only way into the city of St. Augustine. Now it takes us into the area known as the Old City. These ancient walls are made out of something called coquina, a shell and sand mixture that we'll be seeing more of a little bit later. And here I stumbled upon the oldest wooden schoolhouse in the United States. And there's a little school teacher up there ringing a bell. And here is the Colonial Oak Music Park. Kind of a cool little spot to listen to live music. There's the stage over there. These alleyways are filled with restaurants and shops, and they smell so good. There's like tons and tons of blocks. I would imagine at nighttime this place is like super lively. People walking all over these little brick streets. I might have to come back down here for dinner, but right now I'm actually getting really hungry just walking through and smelling all the smells coming out of the restaurants. So we'll see. I might have to stop and eat now. So let the midnight special shine light on me. Let the midnight special shine light on me. Let the midnight special shine light on me. Bitsy and I found this cute little dog boutique, so we came in to check it out. And Bitsy's finding lots of new smells everywhere. I was hoping to get some cute pictures of her with stuff, but she's not being too cooperative. Look, Bitsy. Over there. Go get him. Oh my gosh, this little toilet bowl for dogs is so cute. The sign says water for dogs or short people with really low standards. We don't judge. Too funny. Cute one. Yep. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Hello there. She's making friends. I am here at the Castillo De San Marcos in St. Augustine, Florida. This is a really old castle. We're gonna go take a look around while I tell you guys a little bit more about it. The Castillo de San Marcos was built in the late 1600s and is the largest and oldest masonry fort in the U.S. It was used by the Spanish, the British, the Spanish again, and then the United States. The fort overlooks Matanzas Bay, and the walls are built out of coquina, the sand shell mixture we saw earlier, making it a true sandcastle. Coquina was used because the materials were readily available and bulletproof as well as cannon-proof. So we are walking around in what used to be the moat around the fort. It's pretty cool to think that, you know, so long ago this was filled with water. They never would have expected just tourists running around everywhere in their moat. Kind of crazy, huh? Well, this has been really cool, but I'm gonna head out of the fort and see what else is around here. And here I just stumbled on a little turtle chilling in the sun with his birdie friends. Well, it has gotten really chilly really fast. I think Bitsy and I are done here at the old historic area of St. Augustine and checking out the fort. We didn't end up getting anything to eat, which is okay, and I think we're gonna venture out and find some other things to do around St. Augustine. So let's see what else there is. You ready, Bits? She's ready to go. All right, we're going. The next stop is in a place called Old Town. This is where you'll find the old jail, a museum, a general store, all kinds of old stuff. It's also where those tour trams come from. The jail was built in the 1890s by the same people who built Alcatraz, and the sheriffs and their families lived on site just across the hall from the inmates. They do a great job of taking us back into time to experience what it was like for prisoners working on chain gangs. Well, that wraps up things for this stop, and as the day's coming to an end, I'm going to head back into town to take a look at some of the most prominent architectural icons of St. Augustine. There's so much beauty in this city, like this cathedral we're passing here to our right, and Flagler College, which was originally built in 1888 as the Ponce de Leon Hotel. It is consistently ranked among the most beautiful college campuses in the country and even the world. Whew. All right, you guys, I think I have had enough walking around in the freezing cold weather today. I think we saw some really cool things around St. Augustine, and I pretty much got the highlights of everything that I wanted to make sure I saw. So I'm gonna close this video out. I just found a yummy little hot dog stand on the side of the road, just outside of all that historical little town area. And so I got myself some hot dogs and a Coke and a milkshake, and I am going to cozy up back here with my puppy and eat my yummy food. Oh my gosh, you have to see these. The fries are like hand cut. I don't know if it looked really good, and it has like, it says world famous on the sign, and it has like almost 4.6 stars or something on like hundreds of ratings on Google. So I figured it would be good. I'm gonna try it, and hopefully it is. And then I'm just gonna edit photos and do homework for the rest of the night. Sorry, my memory card got full right at the end there, but yeah, so I'm just gonna close this thing out. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video because who knows where I'm going next. If you have an idea, leave it in the comments. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.